Jaire Alexander has signed with the Baltimore Ravens. Mike Garofalo, he reported that the contract is 1 year, $4 million with $2 million in incentives. The incentive package is based on playtime bonuses. $500,000, not bad, for hitting 35, 40, 45, and 50% of the team snaps. Great deal for Baltimore. Really high upside deal here for the Ravens. Great fit. We talked about Jaire. You said, Ziggy, that his cornerback one days were probably behind him. But here in Baltimore, I mean, he slides in really nicely to a loaded secondary that now has Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins himself, and of course the safeties, Kyle Hamilton, Malachi Starks. They just drafted him. This defense now in Baltimore, this team in Baltimore now, I know a couple days ago we talked about the vulnerability of the Ravens, and I think I had them, it might have been second on the list for most vulnerable division winners. And I think that is with respect to Joe Burrow, of course, given that he's one of the top four quarterbacks in that elite category. He can go off and he could take the division. That's still in play. But the Ravens are just on paper much, much better than Cincinnati. Like we had to start looking at this Ravens team as, we know that they're a Super Bowl contender, but this may be the best chance the Ravens have had to win the Super Bowl in the Lamar Jackson era this season.
Well, one reason I think that Jaire Alexander signing is really important is because while you listed off a bunch of great names for the Ravens, and they do have those names, the defense really did struggle last year, particularly in the secondary.
They needed help.
They started to turn it around towards the end of the season, but especially the first 2 months. Mike McDonald, he took that defense with him to Seattle. The Ravens defense was not very good. And a large part of that was that the zone defense that they'd been known for, in particular, their ability to present mismatches and to have big playmakers, that wasn't there for a lot of last year. Now, as I see it, we talked about this as the Packers were deciding whether to keep Jaire or not. As a cornerback, too, in a zone-heavy scheme, which is what the Ravens will be bringing next year, even if he's not as athletic as he used to be, this is still a guy of incredible ball skills. This is a guy with incredible instincts, and I think he'll fit really well into what the Ravens want to do. Now, the deal is interesting. You said it's a great deal, and it is. I guarantee you the Packers offered Jaire Alexander more money than this.
Had to have. Because they were on the rope for 17, right?
Yeah. There's no way that they capped it out at like 5.
Yeah,
and
that's crazy.
Jaire Alexander did what I didn't think he would do. When the Packers left, I figured he was going to try and sign a big deal elsewhere, but I think that market dried up. This is a deal that makes a lot of sense if Jaire wants to sign a big 3-year deal next year and collect a paycheck, because I think he's going to look very good in Baltimore. Jaire,
it's a great point.
I think he's going to be productive. There's no doubt about it. But I take this as a signal that despite the outward appearances, and I got fooled by it, he really was done with Green Bay if they weren't willing to pay him close to that full salary.
Well,
I
can't blame you.
Lamar. Well, I'm surprised on the face of it that he's turning down more money in Green Bay to go to Baltimore. I really thought that he wanted to stick with the team because he was connecting with the rookies. He was saying all the right things, but it looks like things just turned sour at the end and he wanted a fresh start.
That's probably what happened there too. But I think what you mentioned a moment ago also has some truth to it, that if Jaire's sitting down looking at the situation, going to Baltimore, A, gives him a chance to win right now. Like this, as we just said, this team's loaded. But 2, he should be really good here because he has less pressure on him. In Green Bay, he's cornerback 1. Like all the attention is on him. In Baltimore, that's not the case. He's got a lot of help back there. And I think you're right in that if he has a decent season, in the long run, he may be looking at more money potentially than if he was with the Pack. Now, if he was with Green Bay and had a shutdown cornerback 1 season, obviously he's getting a huge deal. But there's a world where he comes out of this better. Yeah, there's a world where he comes out of this in a better situation than if he had stayed with Green Bay. Who knows if that's actually, like, that feels like a pretty intense, like, 3D chess move from Jaire if that was his decision making. But
no, that's not crazy. I want to go where I can play best this year to try and sign a big deal in 2026. You
are setting some ego aside, though. If that was the goal, you're setting some ego aside there.
I'm not so sure.
I don't know if you go to the Raiders or whoever you go, if you're the number 1 cornerback, Like there are a lot of guys I think that would be, yeah, I want to be the guy. Like this is what it came down to. Like I want to be the guy, then I want to get paid like the guy. If he goes to Baltimore and has a great year, I'm not sure he'll get paid like a number one cornerback ever again in his career. I mean, unless if he's just unbelievable.
No, but I think he can get paid a good cornerback 2 salary.
Yeah.
Jaire's always been about the money.
This feels like a smart, yeah, you're right. This is a smart move from him and from Baltimore to me. And I'm serious, Ziggy, when I said that a moment ago, I know I said this might be, but no, this is the best chance the Ravens have had to win the Super Bowl in the Lamar Jackson era. From top to bottom, Lamar Jackson is at peak form, where he's coming off a first year over 4,000 yards. People, when we reflect on his year, and remember Josh Allen won MVP, Lamar had 41 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. Like that is as elite as it gets. I mean, he's at the peak of his game. Derrick Henry ran for 1,900 yards. Doesn't look like he's slowing down. The weapons are the best they've ever been. We just said the defense is ready to go. Like this is the time for Baltimore. I'm not sure it will ever get better than this. Kansas City, I know they had some more weapons coming back with Rashee Rice returning, Hollywood Brown, but the offensive line got a bit weaker. I'm not picking against Kansas City probably until I have to. This is what I've been on the entire run here, is you can't pick against them until they lose. But if there was ever a year for Baltimore to do it, I know you're 14-2 in 2019. I know in 2023 you had the 13-4 year, you're hosting the championship. But this is the best team. And this is the best Lamar, I think, as well. And that means something. So I think it's time for the Ravens. It's funny that them and the Bills are both in this situation of like, now's the time. Now's the time. Like you have two teams with this mentality. But I think it's true.
I totally agree. And if you look at the way their off seasons went, I think I'm happier about the way things went for the Ravens and the way things went for the Bills.
Definitely.
Not the Bills had like a terrible offseason, but Joey Bosa's already hurt. I don't think Tre'Davious White is like a huge steal from the Ravens. What?
I know I feel bad for Bosa. The Bosa brothers just get hurt all the time.
I'm not here trying to like dunk on him or whatever, but he's not going to be productive this year. We all know it. Mm. And actually, I mean, ask yourself this, right? Like the big departure from Baltimore this offseason. Really, the only departure that played a significant number of snaps from them on the defensive side was Brandon Stevens. I would not be shocked at all to see Jaire Alexander have a better season than Brandon Stevens.
Well, no, if you listen to Baltimore, I'm not super plugged into the Ravens scene, but Brandon Stevens did not have a very good year. Like Baltimore fans were not happy with Brandon Stevens at all.
No, and I think
so. This is a big upgrade.
Incredible.
This is a big upgrade.
Yeah. You bring in Malachi Starks, you bring in Mike Green from Marshall. You've got like the whole edge rusher program they've had as a bunch of guys growing up.
I think Chidobe Awuzie is back there now too in the secondary, and he's going to be acting as your cornerback 4. Like I understand that he has some bouncing back to do, but if there's a place to do it, it's Baltimore. I mean, they are so well run. They do all the things that I wish the Vikings would do. Or it's like, they drafted Hamilton and they signed Henry.
It's always about Kyle Hamilton. It is always about Kyle Hamilton.
They signed Jaire. Like all the moves I want, literally all 3 of those. If you told me the Vikings did it, especially given the time period that they did it, it was like, yeah, the Vikings could use the safety. Yeah, the Vikings could use the running back. Yeah, the Vikings could use the cornerback. And Baltimore always gets it done. Now, I'm not complaining too much about the Vikings. Like we've done a really, really good job. Kwesi's done an excellent job building us back into a contender, and we'll see what happens with JJ. But it's just, Baltimore takes advantage of these opportunities, and it often works out for them. And
this is why several sports books have the Ravens as the favorite to win the Super Bowl next year.
And it's ultimately going to come down to what winds up happening when they get to the playoffs there, when they go against Allen, when they go against Mahomes, and if Burrow's able to get back. Like these guys, these duels that they have, the games are often unbelievable too. It's not like you have someone blowing the other one out. It's always down to the wire. And last year they couldn't make the play. Mark Andrews dropped the pass. And that's in the AFC Championship game, the Bills couldn't get the first down. Now some people might debate that, but that's what it comes down to in these moments with these great quarterbacks. Is often 1 or 2 plays going the other way. The Ravens had the turnovers. and against Buffalo. Probably could have won and maybe should have won that game. But it's one game, and that's the fun part about the NFL is it's one game playoff, single elimination. You have a bad day, you're out.